Welcome, one and all. We are doing a new deck list, and this one's going to be a weird camera angle because my bipod, as you can probably hear from me doing that, the spring is out, so I'm going to have to get a new tripod as well. Ooh. You know when they say things go wrong in freeze? That's what's happening right now. My shoes are breaking, uh, my bipod is breaking, and my headphones broke. So, in freeze, woo. Anyway, we shall soldier on. This is another cheap deck profile because your boy likes being the cheap boy. But this is a fun deck. It's a deck that will piss your opponents off. As you can tell by the bottom bit, this is Unchained. Now, Unchained has a really nice feel to it in the sense of if you like making your opponent this or this. That's basically what this deck is good at, or even this actually. They'll probably cry. So this deck is very cheap, and it's also, if you don't know how to deal with it, extremely annoying to go against. So with that being said, let's go forward with it. We have 3 Unchained twins, Sarma, I don't know how to pronounce half these names. Then 3 Unchained twins, Rakea, and 3 Unchained twins, Aruha. Now, the reason you run 3 of each of the twins is because the effects of every Unchained card, basically, to give you an idea, is when it's destroyed, it has an effect. Which is why it makes your opponents cry and angry, because they destroy something and then all of a sudden you get something else out of it. Think of it as an entire deck of Mystic Tomatoes. It's really good like that. So Sahara has an effect that you can, when you summon it, you can set a Unchained card from your graveyard and then destroy a card on your side of the field. Rakea has an effect where you just quick effect, so even during your opponent's turn, target one card on your field, destroy it. And Aruha is it can special summon itself from hand by destroying a card on field. And all of these have the effect of, if they are destroyed via a card effect, destroyed at all, so whether it be by card effect or by battle, and whoever destroys it, unless it's by their own effect, so Rakea targeting itself wouldn't activate Rakea's effect, they get the effect of, hey, you get to special summon any Unchained card from your deck. Not Unchained Twins, no. Unchained card. So it could be Unchained Souls, which we'll get into those in a minute. Also, I think all of them have a slight restriction of when they use their effects, you can only special summon Fiends, but I know for a fact Rakea does, which makes one later play you'll see a little more annoying, but still possible. So that's the Unchained Twins. Again, this is budget. Those cards alone will probably cost you about £5 total, including the super rare, which is really good. Next, we're going to go into the Unchained Souls. There's only 2 of them. We have Unchained Soul of Disaster and Abominable Unchained Soul. 3 of each. Now, these have different effects. So, again, when they're destroyed, they have an effect. Wouldn't really fit in with the deck otherwise, but they also have an additional effect. So Abominable Unchained Soul, when it's destroyed, gets to special summon itself from the grave during the end phase, but it gets banished or sent to the deck. I can't remember which thing gets banished when it's sent off the field again. But also, if a card is destroyed on your side of the field while you have this in hand, special summon it. Unchained Soul of Disaster has the effect of, if it's destroyed on the field, add any fiend monster from your deck to your from your graveyard to your hand. So if you have a Ruha engraved and you want that in hand to go off later, you can. If you have a fiend that you've summoned from the extra deck, you can send it back to the extra deck. Then there's also the effect of a disaster where it gains attack equal to the amount of Unchained monsters, Unchained cards in the graveyard times 300. So if you have 10 Unchained cards in grave, which since this deck is all about destruction, that's not that difficult. It has 3k attack. They're both level 8s, which means you can do rank 8 plays. And Soul of Disaster's good effect is it allows you to target one card on your opponent's side of the field. It's not a quick effect, unfortunately. But target one special summon card on your opponent's side of the field, link summon with it, and create a link monster with it, which is really, really good. Because it basically goes, lol, your monster can't be destroyed. Well, I'm just going to link summon then. Screw you. Next, because they're all fiends, Tour Guide, all of the twins are level 3, so Tour Guide is extremely good in this deck. It basically gets you into your Unchains, and then because your twins effect when they get destroyed is like engrave, Tour Guide doesn't negate that particular effect, so Tour Guide's really good. And then we have the one card that is good, but Rakea doesn't activate it, so you have to have additional card for it. But Triple Artifact Scythe. It's a nice little control card for the deck. There are multiple ways for you to pop it that isn't the twins, which means you get the effect of Artifact Scythe off. And it's just all round a good card for this deck. So you'll see how I usually pop that in a minute. Next, we have our Iron Dragon Tyamations. Basically, it's a Mech Knight that mixed with an Imperm. It destroys our... If there's cards in column, you can special summon this card. Doesn't matter what column. To say the middle column is used, Tamation can still special summon itself to the right column as long as there's a certain amount of cards in a particular column. And then it destroys every card in the column it's in, and then no other cards can be used in that particular column. So that's actually another way, kind of, to use Scythe, but obviously you want to use Scythe during your opponent's turn, so it's not exactly the best way of using Scythe. So, alright, and then that's it for the monsters. Next, let's go into the spells. 3 Abomination's Prison. Basically, this is the searcher for the deck. Activate this, add any Unchained to your hand. Also, if it's destroyed on the field, when it's set face down, you can special summon an Unchained from your deck, which is really good. So basically, it's always live. If you don't want to search for whatever reason and you just want a special summon, you can set it and then destroy it with like a Ruha or something. So that's quite good. Next, this is the this is a card that you never really see much play except in this deck. Triple Mystical Space Typhoon. Let me explain. So MST has no cost, and it allows you to destroy a spell or trap. All of these spell and traps in this deck, other than this and like Dark Hole, you'll see. In fact, I might as well show that since I said it now. So this and Dark Hole, the only 2 spells and traps you run that you don't want to destroy with it. And this is the main way you activate Scythe. So what you do is you set Scythe, you set Typhoon, wait until their turn, activate Typhoon, targeting your Scythe pop. Your opponent cannot now special summon. Also, it's good for destroying the spells and traps. So if you set an Abomination's Prison, you can Mystical Space Typhoon it. Or if you set any of the traps that I'm going to go through in a second. And then obviously the Dark Holes, all of the monsters have effects when they're destroyed. So yeah, you want to run Dark Hole to do the monster popping. Next, we're going to go through the traps. We have 3 Abominable Chamber of the Unchained and 3 Escape of the Unchained. We've got other traps, but these are the two Unchained traps that you run. So basically, I can't remember what each one does now. Cause to be honest, I only ever pop these, but they do have effects if you activate them. So special summon Unchained from your hand or graveyard with this one. Or with Escape from the Unchained, you can destroy an Unchained card on your side of the field and a card on your opponent's side of the field. And obviously, destruction means advantage for this deck. And both of these have the effect that's the exact same as Abomination's Prison. If this set card is destroyed, you can special summon Unchained from your deck. This effect can only be used once per turn. Same with Abomination Prison. Same with the twins. So they're not more than once per turn, but they are still able to be used. So yeah, you're running 3 of each of these. You could trap trick them, but I find that's not ideal because you want to kind of use them on your first turn anyway. So getting them to your field on your opponent's turn is not exactly something that you need. And then the final trap, Double Torrential, because again the monsters like being destroyed. I don't know how many ways I can say that. Monsters like destruction, so please destruct me, daddy. Woo. But yeah, that's basically how the main deck runs. Next, we're going to go into the extra deck, which is this little bit here. So we have our Phantom Knights of Breaksword. We have 2 of those. They're all level 3s. All your cards like being destroyed. It makes sense to run Phantom Knights of Breaksword, especially since you can Tour Guide into it, which is really nice. So yeah, that's always quite nice. Giga brilliant. There is no reason for me to be running this except the fact that I want to flex that I have the ultimate rare. Literally the only reason. Although to be fair, I have brought it out once or twice and won the game due to it because of its gain attack point effect. So, meh. And the final for the XEs, number 38. This is the thing I will overlay 2 level 8s into just to stop my opponent going into spells. So it's really nice for that. Next, we're going to go into the links, which is the last of the actual deck, to be fair. We're running 3 Soul of Rage. So the Unchained Link 2 and the Unchained Link 2 and the Unchained Link 3 require an Unchained Soul monster. So that means you can't just use an Unchained Twins Aruha with another Unchained Twin card. You have to have at least Abominable or Disaster on the field to link summon into the Link 2. Link 2 has the same effect of the Disaster, but it also has the effect of being able to do it during your opponent's turn. It has to be during your opponent's turn if you're doing it with theirs. So Soul of Rage is just a nice little interruption to link with your opponent's monster. Next we have Unchained Soul of Anguish. So it's the Link 3, and it's basically what you normally go into with Soul of Rage. Soul of Anguish effect is basically, again, the same. Grab a card from the graveyard if it's destroyed. But it also has the effect of, during your turn, target 1 monster your opponent controls. Doesn't have to be special summoned anymore. Just any monster your opponent controls, link summon with it. So again, that's usually what you do with that, is you tend to just link with your opponent's monster. And then the finale, 3 Unchained Abomination. This is your link 4. Its effects are completely different. So basically with Abomination, you're going into that as your final board. If a card is destroyed, this effect allows you to destroy yet another card, whether it be on your field or your opponent's field, doesn't matter. And also, I think it has another effect, let me read. Because I tend to just use that effect. So if a card on the field is destroyed by card effect, except by this particular card, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. Obviously, it can't be done during the damage step. So, because if you just attack into a monster destroyer, then that's kind of dumb. You could target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Yep, I already said that. I'm an idiot. When another monster is destroyed by battle, you could target 1 card on the field and destroy it during the end phase. And then during the end phase, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So this card just destroy. So Abomination is definitely the best. And oh my god, I just realized this is a misprint. I've got a misprint. Okay, so I'm going to take it out of the sleeve so it's easier to see. But if you look at that top text, it's got like a purple tint to it, like compared to the other one. And this is before like purple ultras and shit were a thing. So what that means is, if I do that, well, I've seen people do this to like focus the character. There we go. So it's got like a sort of purple hint. I don't know if it's coming off on camera, but there is like a purple tinge to that, which that means the ink on the roller that made this was running out of ink. Got a misprint, boys. Didn't even realise that. It's like the most petty of misprints. Like, unless you point it out to somebody, no one's ever going to notice. But I've just saw it because the way that my light's hitting the cards, I've just seen it. And that makes me actually kind of happy. I've got a misprint and I didn't even realise. Anyway, the final 2. We got ourselves a Topologic Bomber because Bomber destroys monsters. Unchained go when destroyed. So, yeah. And then Sayuya because the additional draws to go into maybe an MST or into an Unchained that can special summon itself and whatnot is always good. I mean, you could easily replace this with an Appaloosa if you wanted to. But yeah, that's basically how the deck runs. It's a lot of fun. Still can't believe I got a misprint. But yeah, no, the deck is a lot of fun. It is. And I'll be honest with you, I think the most expensive 2 cards in this entire deck is about £10 each, if that. And that's the Unchained Abomination and the Abominable Prison in the main, the spell card. But everything else in this entire deck, including the ultimate rare, I'm not going to lie to you, if you want this ultimate rare, that's really cheap. That's like, I think it's like £1 for this entire ultimate rare. So yeah, no, the entire deck, including the rarities I've got for everything, is actually really cheap. Obviously, if you want a max rarity, then yeah, this deck is really expensive because like that comes in Starlight and whatnot. But the entire deck itself is usually quite cheap. I would say if you've picked up 2020 tins looking for the Dragoon of Red Eyes, you pretty much have everything that you need for this. I think the only ones you can't get is the Abomination's Prison. But everything else in this entire deck pretty much you can get from the tins. So this entire deck is really cheap. It's really, really cheap. I would say it's probably one of the best budget decks at the moment. Just for the sheer fact of how cheap it is to how well it plays. I've seen Unchained do quite well in tournaments, like not win, but do really well. They piss off the opponent like to no end. So yeah, no, this for the price it is, it's a good deck. It's a good deck for the price it is. So I would say if you're looking for a cheap deck that to just, you know, start the game with and to annoy your opponents with, this one wouldn't go amiss. This one wouldn't go amiss. Obviously, do your own build if you want. If you think I put some dumb cards in here, feel free to run your own particular build of it. But I like this build. I like this build. I've annoyed a couple of people online already with it. So hope you guys enjoyed. The next video will be a very less budget deck. To the point I'll show you the one. There's literally only one card in the entire deck that's not really that budget, and I'll show you it now, which is this boy. That boy's not budget in the next deck. So I'll see you when I make the AA Zeus whatever deck it is deck. Although if you've paid any attention to any of the meta recently, you probably already know. Ooh. I'll see you guys in that deck profile. Have a good one. Ta-ta.